vumundzuku bya mina I ku sweswi va la ku hi dyondzisa computer ni vona byi ta va kahle ni nga ti sungulela nyana internet cafe yi va ya mina na mina ni kota ku vona ku a xikolweni lexi ni koti ku dyondza swo karhi mina lexi ni nga ta xi endla.
So this year it's this English communication and then the basic banking. We fundiwa ke ABSA via project literacy. We start next week Monday. We start for about 7 months. Then batlapa kwala IEP exam. Mo literacy it botlhokwa thata gore motswadi a itubale. He o ka tla mo literacy program o tlo khona go bona gore o tlo khona go bulega le matlo ba khona thusa le bana ba gago go ka di program.
The South African Institute for Chartered Accountants, or SAICA's Thuthuka Education Upliftment Program, identifies, develops and recruits chartered accountant talent from rural schools. Conducted in all 9 provinces through presentations, exhibitions, symposiums and the media. Thuthuka's schools visits focus especially on schools with large numbers of passers in subjects like mathematics.
SAICA stands for the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. What does that mean? We look after the needs and we look after the needs of all the chartered accountants in South Africa. At the moment, there is a total of about 35,000 chartered accountants, out of which less than 10% of those are African and colored accountants. Therefore, Thuthuka was born to make sure that the profession reflects the country's population demographics. Thuthuka looked at the needs and the barriers, why there are fewer or less African chartered accountants. And then we look at all those barriers from school level to undergrad level and as well as postgrad level to say what are the barriers, why are people not qualifying as chartered accountants? We realized that there were a number of reasons, and then we can only take but a few to make sure that we can assist those learners who wants to be chartered accountants to qualify as chartered accountants. For example, our programs start at school level, where we look at learners, we identify talent, the learners that have got talent in maths particularly, and also we look at the learners that have got potential to qualify as chartered accountants, and then we fund them to be chartered accountants when they go to tertiary. Thuthuka is targeting mainly rural areas, kids from the disadvantaged communities, simply because all projects or all initiatives that are externally funded, they go to the urban areas, which becomes a problem for the kids who are at the rural communities, simply because they can't afford to go to these urban areas to attend such programs. So Thuthuka goes to these areas where they promote the profession, where they identify talent, because we find that there are a lot of deserving learners in these areas, but they just don't have the resources. So we rather bring the resources these learners so that is to give them an opportunity to qualify as chartered accountants. The Thuthuka programs have touched over 3,000 schools nationally since its inception. We've already also been working with over 50,000 learners in these schools, and we have also touched over about 1,000 educators in our programs.
We have allowed Thuthuka to come to our school because it is an external motivation to our learners. They are there to come and motivate our learners concerning the subject like maths, like accounting and science. And for us to allow them is because the Thuthuka develop their intellect. They can be able to depict or to elect learners and try to take them as their own learners who will be given the bursaries to go and further their studies in the said subjects. Here we even have some learners who are practicing as chartered accountants, and those 2 learners are from our disadvantaged areas, like our school where it is. We have one which is Godfrey Mongatane, is the one who has been taught at this disadvantaged school, and another one is Makopane, who is also working there. And I think this outreach of Thuthuka, it is there to motivate, and it is there to come and make them aware that with them they can make it.
I've learned so much, and I've got so much information from these SAICA classes, and I've got to the reality that I have to improve my results, and I'm even considering to change my mathematical literacy to pure maths, because I think there will be more opportunities for me out there.
I like maths and accounting, but with maths I have a problem, not necessarily because I don't know it, just because I see it as this subject that is so difficult and many students have a problem with it. With accounting, I love accounting and I can do accounting. So if you don't have maths and if you have accounting, it means you can't be what you want to be, and which is accounting courses like CA and auditing. Things that consult maths and accounting, you can't like fulfill them without having to do maths.
Once we identify the talent, they go through a testing, which is called NBT testing, and then that looks at, that you will be able to accommodate the load at university for whatever that is needed of you to become a chartered accountant. And then we put them at these universities to study, become accounting, and eventually they become CAs. Thuthuka monitors the success of our programs based on the fact that our program grade 10 to grade 12. Therefore, we'll look at the results of the previous grade 10s when they're in grade 11 compared to the national average of their own schools where these learners are coming from. Also, we look at the bursary fund intake at tertiary level, because all our programs, they're supposed to be feeding into our Thuthuka bursary fund program, meaning all those learners that have been in our schools initiatives, they should take accounting at tertiary, or they should be part of our Thuthuka bursary fund program. Thuthuka in the long term would like to achieve, we'd like to grow our pipeline. Remember why we're running Thuthuka is to reflect the country's population demographics, the numbers of the CAs. So once that has happened, we'll say Thuthuka has achieved its goals. Meaning it can take 30 to 40 years for us to say we have now transformed as the CA profession, but we're running that through our Thuthuka programs, and eventually we are hoping that we'll achieve that goal.
And that's all we have for you today. If you'd like more information on any of the inserts that you've seen on the show, give Amelia a call on our hotline. That's 011-791-5658 between 8 and 4, Mondays to Fridays. Otherwise, you can visit us on our website. That's www.growingtomorrow.co.za. That's it. We'll be back tomorrow. And that is no April Fool's joke. Until then, remember, do what you can with what you have for a better tomorrow. Cheers. For more information regarding the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, call their hotline number on 0800 007 095 or visit the department's website at www.ruraldevelopment.gov.za.